All right, what's good all day, fam? I'm here a lot earlier today, and I'm gonna be shorter today because I have some things I have to get to, and I have class in like a little bit over an hour. So I'm gonna I got some things I have to do before I get into class, and here my flashcards right here. But I wanted to jump on because I did not want the streak of me being on here every day to end. I know I so I want to keep that momentum going unless I find other reasons not to. But for now, I find a reason to be on here every day because I believe if I want to build this brand, I want to build this channel, I want to build the all day community brand, the value of it, the quality of it, that I need to keep stabbing at it every day. And it starts with football. It starts with me talking about the game, talking about sports, talking about, well, not sports in particular, but football, and start to talk about the news that's coming out every day about around NFL, around college, and so this is get at it. All right, so let's see news around the NFL. I guess we can start out talking about this. The Eagles, they hired Packers quarterback coach Sean Mannion as new offensive coordinator. Oh, so they finally got an offensive coordinator. The Eagles did. So let's see. For you Eagle fans, I want to know how you guys feel about this. So Sean Mannion as new offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles have found the man to lead yet another offensive reset. Philadelphia is hiring Green Bay Packers quarterback Sean Mannion as their new offensive coordinator. The team officially announced the news shortly after. I'm thrilled to have Sean Mannion on board as the new offensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. Head coach Nick Sirianni said in a statement released by the team, "My goal throughout this process was to operate with an open mind regarding the future of our offense to find the biggest fit for the Eagles. Over the last few weeks, I had an opportunity to meet with a number of talented candidates and great offensive minds. I am appreciative of the time I was able to spend with each of them. Some came with years of experience running an offense and calling plays. Others were young, sharp, and dynamic coaches on the rise. I felt it was important to be patient and thorough to allow the right fit to reveal himself to us. Sean did just that. Manning assuredly falls under the dynamic coach on the rise category. A 2015 third round pick who played quarterback for 6 seasons, so he did play the game. He's only spent 2 years in the NFL coaching ranks. He joined the Packers coaching staff as an offensive assistant in 2024 and was promoted to quarterbacks coach ahead of this past season. During his time in Green Bay, he helped oversee the maturation of Jordan Love, a stellar development of backup Malik Willis into one of the most trusted reserve signal callers in the league. He now becomes the latest offensive coordinator for the Eagles, whose revolving door at the position has resulted in a new coach every year since 2022. Though Manning inherits a unit in its most dire straits during that span, following 3 straight years of the top 10 offensive finishes in both scoring and yards from 2022 to 2024, Philly bottomed out in 2025 to finish 19th in points and 24th in yards. Those rankings are easily the lowest of Sirianni's half-decade tenure. Under previous offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo, the passing offense went stagnant for maddening stretches, leading to frequent corners outside no noise, such as AJ Brown's mindset regarding his place in the operation. Jalen Hurts hit on fewer bigger plays and way less consistent. His 64.8 completion percentage marked his lowest since his first full year as a starter, and his 16.7 bat throw percentage was his worst since he was a rookie. Saquon Barkley in the running game was similarly coming off his 2,000-yard rushing season. Manning's mission is to reverse such trends and deliver the Eagles an offense more on par with their world-beating defense, similar to how Kellen Moore took over following a 2023 wildcard exit and ignited a turnaround that resulted in the Eagles. Let's see. Let's see. But yeah, I forgot where I left off at, but we can just say Manning has previously little experience as an NFL coach, and he's never called plays. However, he learned from Packers coach Matt LaFleur and played under both Rams and coach Sean McVay and Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell. Oh, well, that's really good. All three of them have worked together, meaning Manning's offensive philosophy with the Eagles will likely resemble theirs, with more ingenuity and increased pre-snap motion than seen in Philadelphia this season. If he finds his footing as a play caller as quickly as he rose to one, the Eagles will have a good shot at capturing lightning in a bottle with yet another offensive coordinator. So that's awesome. I love it. That's good for I'll say that's good for Eagles, man. I think it's a pretty good. I think it's a pretty good hire. I mean, he first off, prior to him being being with the Packers, he learned under Kevin O'Connell and Matt LaFleur, and so that's that's a plus. I mean, so he's in that tree, and when he was with the Packers, he did a good job with Jordan Love, and definitely with Malik Willis. Malik Willis is more than likely going to end up being a starter somewhere. So you gotta I think you got to give it to the Eagles. I think that was a really good sneaky hire, really good hire by them because at first it was kind of looking for Eagle fan, you was gonna. I think you probably could have been worried like, oh, what coordinator can we get? And hopefully that we don't get a terrible coordinator because nobody wants this job. But Manning, I think that's a really good hire. I like that hire. So the question is how long is he going to stay there? But I don't think he's going to get any head coaching opportunities soon. But with being said, you know that the Eagles, how it goes with the Eagles, you do a good job with them, and then you more than likely all of a sudden get a head coaching opportunity. So we'll see. It's going to be very interesting to see how he's going to play call, how he's going to call that offense, and how Jalen Hurts is going to prevail under him. Robert Saleh wants his Titans fast and violent, he says, in second head coach stint after finding tremendous growth during time with the Jets. I get that, but the question remains. Oh yeah, well he is getting Brian Dayball, so Titans gonna be pretty good. They got Brian Dayball as offensive coordinator, and then they got Robert Saleh as a head coach. That was some good hires. I have to give it to him. It was some good hires. The only thing is though, I don't trust the front office. I don't really trust the front office. I really don't. I don't think the front office are good at overseeing things. How they just got rid of Mike Vrabel out of the blue like that, and yeah, I think the Titans are always going to be held back. Robert Saleh is cool. Ryan Dable is cool. I think that they're going to do wonder. I think that's going to do wonders for Cam Ward, and that defense is going to be good. But I just don't trust the front office to do the right things. The Titans, the Tennessee Titans, is one of those franchises that I just don't really trust. And so entering his second head coaching gig, Robert Saleh feels better prepared to lead the Tennessee Titans. Once he's removed from his first experience in that role with the New York Jets, the 46-year-old coach said Thursday he didn't even have enough time to explain what he learned in those 3+ seasons. I'll be honest, there's no handbook to a first time at anything you do. And what I would say, the proper question would be, what didn't I learn? Saleh said at his introductory news conference, there's so much to gain from any time you're in the chair as a head coach, and there's so many learning experiences that I had. I can't, oh my God. I can sit here and talk to you for the next 4 hours about all those different things, but I can assure you that there was tremendous growth through the opportunity that I had with the Jets. I'm more prepared now than I've ever been to attack this position. Spalla spent the 2025 season in San Francisco, where he impressively guided an injury-ravaged 49ers defense to the playoffs. It was both a familiar and fitting setting for him to recalibrate after getting fired midway through his fourth season in New York. While Saleh said he learned a lot, the energy in which he coaches from the sideline will remain the same in Tennessee. Fast and violent, man. He said the style of play he envisions from his Titans, play in and play out. We're going to play with speed. We're going to play with confidence. We're going to have some swag. We're going to talk a little noise, but I want to show who they are, play in and play out. And like I said, the one thing that you'll notice is the speed at which we play in and the violence at which we do it. Okay. Let's see. While that type of talk resembles the all gas no bridge mentality, he's well known for his solid disclosed one big change that will happen under his direction in Tennessee. calling defensive plays, which is a different setup than the setup he had in New York. When I didn't call plays, I felt like I was the timeout and red flag guy. He said candidly, "I have the greatest seat in the house as a fan." Saleh is tasked with turning around a Tennessee Titans defense that finished in the bottom half of the NFL in most categories, most notably points allowed per game, 28.1 ranked 28, takeaways 14, tied 29th. His aggressive defensive scheme has a stellar player to build around in all-pro defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons. Yup, everybody wanted Jeffrey Simmons. Everybody was calling Tennessee to get him. But the focus in Nashville is centered around quarterback Cam Ward, last year's #1 overall pick. Cam, from everything that I've gathered, just all the discussions I've had throughout the building and throughout the league, comes with an elite work ethic, elite character, and is an elite person, Salah said. The biggest thing that we're going to work with Cam is going all the way back to the beginning. We've got a whole offseason to work with them. Take him back to the very, very beginning, both on the field, off the field, the process, what it looks like to not only be a professional with regards to preparation of his body, but as a professional with regards to preparation but as a professional with regards to preparation in his body, but as a professional in regards to preparing from a game planning standpoint or a playbook standpoint. Brian Daboll, this is key for right now. Brian Daboll, who was Giants head coach during a majority of the time of Salah's tenure in New York, will be tasked with directing the offense and furthering the Ward's development in year 2. He certainly will. Salah believes Daboll is the perfect coach for Ward, referring to the coach's successful past of developing quarterbacks, including that of Josh Allen in Buffalo. Talking with Dabs over the course of the last few weeks, he is the perfect man to match up with Cam and to maximize who he is. Salah said of his offensive coordinator. So again, we're really pumped to get to work with Cam and get him to where we all know he can be. Ward suffered a right shoulder injury in the final game of his rookie campaign, and his rehab has been going well, according to Titans general manager Mike Bergonzi, who was flanked to Salah's right during the news conference. Okay, so when Bergonzi, he has a big offseason ahead of him with plenty of salary cap room and the #1 for overall selection from April. So that's for you Tennessee fans. Inevitable moves that figure to help the overall cause. Tennessee struggles the past 2 seasons include consecutive 3-win campaigns and a big head coaching whiff after parting ways with Mike Vrabel. The Titans haven't made the playoffs since 2021, and the club's last first-year head coach to make the postseason was in 1990 when the Titans were Oilers in Houston. Wow. But Saleh isn't yet worried about on-field results at this point, first aiming to build his program from the ground up in order to suit up the Titans for success. Obviously, every team wants to win a Super Bowl, Saleh said. Every team wants to achieve the pinnacle of sports. Everybody does. But the realistic expectation is that this team understands what a proper process looks like. Attacking every moment, attacking every day, finding ways to get better every single day. And I know that's kind of cliche and kind of boring, but at the end of the day, we don't have control over the result of a football game. It's an oblong football. You don't know how it's going to bounce. But what we have control over is the way we attack our moments, the way we attack our day-to-day operation, the way we build confidence in our preparation so we can attack the heck out of Sunday to put ourselves in the best position to get the result we want. And so from a successful standpoint, being successful, what that looks like, I'll leave it up to you guys. But in this building, it's going to be about how we attack our moments. So, all right. I like it. He said this is going to be freaking fun. Like he said, looking at the players in attendance, one of them being Ward. We're going to get after it every day. We're going to get after it day after day. We're going to get better. We're going to bring a championship home, and it's going to start with you guys. Okay? Okay, Robert Saleh, I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, I almost feel like he's a player's coach. Almost feel like that way. Let's see here. What Jesse Minter says about the Ravens job. Jesse Minter says Ravens job was the one I wanted. Aims to build connection with Lamar Jackson. Okay. Let's see, am I able to play this? Let's see.
Jesse, this is Jameis Hensley with ESPN. Welcome back to the Ravens.
Thank you.
One of the reasons there is a coaching change here is because of the underperforming in the postseason. What is kind of, you touched upon it a little bit there, but what is kind of your vision to elevate this team to that next level?
That's a great question, Jameson. I appreciate that. I really think building a really cohesive team that all the work that you do leads to being successful in those opportunities. So I think we will create standards that match the goals that we want to achieve, and then work every day tirelessly to get to that point. Our plan will be built on being at our best late in the season, into the playoffs, and look forward to that challenge.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see about that. The Baltimore Ravens hired Jesse Minter, hoping the first-time head coach is a product that doesn't fall too far from the Harbaugh coaching tree. His predecessor, John Harbaugh's 18-season tenure, saw great consistency and a Super Bowl win during the 2012 campaign, and the 42-year-old Minter experienced that impact firsthand when he began his NFL coaching career in Baltimore as an assistant before blossoming as a defensive coordinator under John's brother Jim. The last few seasons in LA. It's why Minter feels right at home with the Ravens. When this job opened, this became the one for me, and this was the one that I wanted. Minter said at that Thursday's introductory news conference. I did go through the initial process with a lot of different teams, but as I was able to reconnect with people in this organization and knowing the history, knowing the tradition, knowing the spine of the organization, kind of what it's built on, there is no better place for me. Becoming just the fourth head coach in the franchise's 30-year history, Minter might have a tough act to follow, but he believes there's an opportunity to maintain success in Baltimore with a talented roster led by quarterback Justin Lamar Jackson. It's not if you don't get no offensive coordinator. They need offensive coordinator. I think they missed out on Brian Daboll. So he got his work cut out for him. They got to get an offensive coordinator. Quick, fast, in a hurry, Baltimore fans. Quick, fast, in a hurry. Minter said he's had multiple conversations with the two-time MVP in an effort to establish a relationship he recognizes will take time. I just look forward to connecting with him, Minter said of Jackson, helping him become the best version of himself, creating a team identity that allows him to thrive, which he's already proven to be an elite, the best player in the National Football League, and put a team around him that allows him to reach that ultimate goal of bringing us to go back to Baltimore. I think it's kind of interesting that, Minter goes from Herbert to Lamar, two quarterbacks that have been struggling in the playoffs. While Minter aims to connect with the Ravens star player, his defensive expertise is the biggest reason why he's in Baltimore. The Chargers allowed 20 points per game, 19th in NFL, and 285.2 total yards per game, fifth under Minter's direction in 2025. The follow-up to his first season as an NFL defensive coordinator, which his unit finished at the top overall scoring defense. Prior to that, Minter was Jim Harbaugh's defensive coordinator at the University of Michigan, a two-season tenure that culminated with a college football playoff national championship. Minter's work in LA made him highly sought after during the 2026 hiring cycle, as he interviewed in Atlanta, Cleveland, Vegas, Miami, Pittsburgh, and Tennessee, in addition to Baltimore. He said he will continue calling defensive plays if fills up to that task as a rookie head coach. I think that's a strength of mine, Minter said, of calling plays. I think that's one of the reasons I am sitting here. But I also think it's my leadership qualities. I have a really good process. I feel to do what I need to do to be ready to call the game, but also have the ability to be the head coach and to impact the entire roster. See, that's what it's all about. I think what people miss in this about being a professional in any sport or any business is your process. That right there is the key. What is your process? What do you do day in, day out, week in, week out, minute by minute? What is your process what is your preparation process? It's all about preparation. The Ravens are coming off a tumultuous season during which injuries played a large role across the board, and the defense didn't live up to their normally high standards. Much like its offense, Baltimore's defense remains full of talent, with linebacker Roquan Smith leading the charge and safety Kyle Hamilton being a unique playmaker that lurks everywhere on the field. Yeah, I mean, you got Roquan, you got Kyle Hamilton, and then you got up and coming rising star and safety also the match Kyle Hamilton. I forget the guy's name. God, I forgot the safety's name. Dang it. But you guys know who I'm talking about. Minter, who oversaw a similar type of Pro Bowl safety in Darren James with the Chargers, beamed with excitement when asked about coaching Hamilton. Kyle is a weapon. He's a position-less defensive player that I would classify as a weapon on defense, Minter said. Yeah, he is a weapon. As much as you can do to get a guy like Kyle near the point of attack, I think it's what you try to do as a designer, play caller. Could not be more thrilled to be able to work with Kyle. All right. Let's see. Staff, offensive and defensive coordinator. He said that those names will be later. Both of those searches are going really, really well and very far along. I would say Minner said, I'm looking for leaders and connectors and relationship builders and schematic expertise, but most importantly, guys that the players believe in, that they're willing to dive deep and build really strong relationships with the players. Preparing the Ravens for their new beginning will be a collaborative effort by Minner and general manager Eric DeCosta, who sat at the new head coach side during Thursday's news conference. So he expressed excitement with Minner, who said blew us away during the in-person interview process and quickly shed whatever preconceived notions he had from the lower level assistant coach. He came first in 2017. It's why the Ravens feel they have another coach that will successfully take the reins for a long time to come, just like Harbaugh did. Steve Biscotty challenged us a few weeks ago to find the next coach who would be here for 18 years. And if we do our job, I won't be here, Costa said. It became apparent quickly that Jesse Manor was the right guy to be our next football coach. Jesse's smart. He's a leader. He's got great humility. He's a problem solver, a great tactician. We've enjoyed watching his defenses play. And he started at the bottom and now he's here. I think that's great. It is great. It is interesting. So let's move on. So I'm not really all that impressed with that hire, but if we can get some good coordinators in, good play callers, I think it would be good. I think it'll work out well for him, Manor. I think it would. On the offensive side, I mean, it's obviously the defense is going to be great, but the problem is can we get Lamar over the hump? Bills head coach Joe Brady. So yeah, the Bills, they hired Joe Brady, and Joe Brady's my job is to allow Josh Allen to be a better version of himself. I really like listening to this guy talk, so I don't want to listen to it. Buffalo Bills new head coach Joe Brady made one thing abundantly clear during his introductory press conference Thursday. It's all about Josh Allen. Okay. Brady stressed that his job, taking over for Sean McDermott, is to get Allen and the Bills to the next level. He is the leader. He is the leader of this organization, and the weight that he has on his shoulder is something that I can't even imagine, Brady said. Josh Allen is the best player in the NFL, and I have to grow. Part of me growing is that it's going to allow him to be a better version of himself. I'm so excited to be able to continue this journey with him. I have so much love for that man right there, and all I want is for him to get everything that he deserves. I'm going to do everything I can to get him what he deserves. Allen said he and Brady are in lockstep on how to get Buffalo to the next level. I looked at him the other day, and he looked at me, and he promised me, and I promised him to hold each other to a standard and hold each other accountable and not get complacent. That's where we are, where we're at, the quarterback said. General manager Brandon Beane reiterated that during the coaching search, the Bills weren't simply looking for a play caller or a scheme, but a CEO who could touch every facet. They believe they found that in Brady. Okay. When we started this process, we were looking for CEO type of a head coach. Beane said, what I'm talking about is a fresh new vision for the Buffalo Bills, somebody who values strong culture, collaboration, and alignment. We wanted a highly intelligent and an excellent communicator. We wanted alignment. Joe Brady is all that and more. For Brady, then alignment begins with Allen. Alignment doesn't mean agreeing to everything, the coach said. Alignment is a shared vision for what we want and making sure we don't ever lose sight of that when we make decisions. When I say Josh Allen and the guys are always at the forefront of exactly when we make every decision, that's alignment. Brady said that Allen told him he got the job on his own merit. However, it's clear that the former offensive coordinator planned for the MVP quarterback played a pivotal role. According to his offensive coordinator's plan, Allen certainly had a voice in the process. I'm very thankful that my input at least is heard. Whether they used anything I had to say in their decision making or not, it's just cool to be in that room. Allen said of the process. Let's see. I'm gonna say.
Interview process, what you want to do with this team.
Yeah, I think look through the interview process. Like I said, it was an extremely intense interview, and look, Josh Allen was stoic in it. Like I made sure he didn't. I didn't talk to him for a week, which was, I'm at edge, but he was making sure that he was removed from it, and everybody in that room, I was appreciative of the professionalism, right? the premise of the interview was making sure that I was able to kind of talk about, not use it as a, hey, these are things that I would change. It's more of, this is what I would do as a head coach, and this is the vision that I'm looking to do here. I think a lot of times we think that, hey, when you take over a place, you just have to change a lot. Sometimes it's just fine tuning some things. But without getting into the details of the privacy of some of our conversations, I really want to make sure that our mentality, right, and the vision that we're going to with the connection and the love and the communication is at the forefront.
Joe Brady, Mookie Hawkins, congratulations, man.
Thank you, brother.
Gotta get used to you being in a suit now.
You might. Hopefully, you don't have to see it in a while.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But how do you plan to support Josh Allen's growth as a leader and a playmaker? And what changes can you expect when what's most important to you when building a coaching staff?
Yeah, like every decision this organization makes, it's with the thought of Josh Allen and the players in mind. Right? I'd be crazy not to. I was a part of incredible organizations in New Orleans with surrounding around Drew Brees, and there wasn't a decision that was made without Drew Brees being thought about, talked about, and making sure you understood it. Doesn't mean it was always the decision, but it was important that he was involved in it, because he is the leader of this organization, and the weight that he has on his shoulders is something that I can't even imagine. Everything I think about is trying to find ways to put him in a position to have success, because that's all I care about with him. Josh Allen is the best player in the NFL, and I have to grow, right? And part of me growing is that's going to allow him to be a better version of himself. And I'm so excited to be able to continue this journey with him. I have so much love for that man right there, and all I want is him to get everything that he deserves. And that's all I do for him.
You guys get this. It's crazy. I just saw something about Josh Allen, ironically. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, I don't know if you can see that. Well, hold on. It's on this page called whatever, I'll just read it to you. So how ironic. And then we're watching this, but it says Bill star quarterback Josh Allen said he suffered a broken bone in his right foot, the fifth metatarsal, in Week 16 versus Browns, but played through the injury for the remainder of the season. Allen, who underwent surgery to repair the bone on Monday, said it was tough to deal with the injury, not an ideal situation. Painful throughout the weeks. Allen, he showed up to Joe Brady's introductory press conference with his right foot in a walking boot and on crutches. They actually have the play where he suffered that. Hold on. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah. I don't want an excuse. I mean, whatever, dude. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see if I can find this. I want to show you guys to see these plays. All right. You know what I can do? I can go on YouTube and I can probably can end it there. I'll just look at these real quick. So see if I can find it. Yeah, this is it. So I'm gonna show y'all this real quick.
foot. The injury occurred back against the Browns as he was trying to
That's not
escape
ever-
Myles
did I
Garrett's
ever
attempt
play
at the
through
sack
something
record.
like
In this video, the play had happened, what I think the injury was, and if we should be worried about this going forward. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Dr. Brian Suter, and the goal on this channel is to teach more about the medical side of the sports world. So we found out today at
Oh,
the
snap.
Bills
I need
new
to
coach
subscribe to
press
this
conference
channel.
that Josh
Yeah.
Allen has undergone foot surgery. I
Push to
believe
go
the
to
surgery
chiropractor
occurred
school.
just earlier this week, so he's a few days out or so from surgery on that right foot. We can see him here. This is what we would call partial weight bearing, where you're using crutches, you're still putting some weight down through the foot, but not all of your weight. So partial weight bearing. And I think that's important when we talk about what this injury actually was. Keeping in mind, of course, that this was his right foot. If we go back to the game that this occurred, I believe it was week 16 against the Cleveland Browns, as he's rolling out to try and escape from Myles Garrett, chasing him down for the sack record. He goes down and kind of as he plants, I think it was probably right about there, that push off on the right foot where this injury would have occurred. As he's scrambling out to the side, I think everything's okay. We still don't see any real abnormal position or angle of that right foot or ankle. But then I believe that step right there where we're getting a little bit blocked is when he would have caused this aggravation. One final look here towards the end of this whole sequence, right before he goes down. This position is going to put some excess strain on that lateral side of his foot where he described that fifth metatarsal is located. So I would have think that that this was probably the moment where that injury occurred. Let's listen into how Josh described this injury.
Can you play this week?
If we had a game this week, I would be playing this week. Absolutely. You kidding me?
Don't doubt it. I think he would.
Take us into a little bit what you had done and what it's been like kind of dealing with playing through that, whatever it was.
Yeah, I had a little broken bone in there. So they went and took it out and cleaned it up.
Key part there, he says specifically a little broken bone. They went in, took it out, and cleaned it up. We'll come back to that in a minute, but keep that in mind.
Obviously, not ideal situation, painful throughout the weeks, but again, game day, different story, just being able to put that to the side and just go out there and play football.
When did it happen? Was it the Cleveland game that happened?
Yes. Yeah. It not to get into the weeds of it, but it's been an older injury, but just aggravated it there and just a little ticked off at me. So
Which bone?
Fifth metatarsal, I think is what it's called.
Love it. So I love hearing athletes
his anatomy is not that
explain what their injury was, right? I think it's important that they understand what bone they injured. I think it's important that they
This is
understand what they
metatarsal.
did to their own body. And so I love that Josh is able to relay that to the reporters that this was the fifth metatarsal bone. So we know it was the fifth metatarsal. We know they went in and removed a little piece of bone.
Little bit
And
of
we also
anatomy
know
class
from
right
that
here.
that it was an aggravation of an old thing. I think what this was some sort of avulsion fracture at the base of his fifth metatarsal. So as we're looking at the foot top down here, metatarsals are the main longer bones in the foot: first, second, third, fourth, and fifth. A lot of people will kind of describe this sometimes as a Jones fracture, and I think it's important to understand the difference. When we think of the fifth metatarsal, you can roughly divide these into like shaft fractures of the metatarsal or base fractures of the metatarsal. A Jones fracture is specifically a fifth metatarsal base fracture in what we call this zone 2. A good way to think of zone 2 is where the fifth and the fourth metatarsals kind of articulate, overlap with one another. And so this region where you'll see on the x-ray where they overlap, right in through here is going to be the location where we would see a Jones fracture. The reason this location matters is blood supply. The blood supply is coming from this part of the bone going down, this part of the bone going up. They meet in the middle in what we call this zone 2, and there's less blood supply there, meaning a higher risk of non-union, or delayed union, meaning not as good healing. I don't think that this was a Jones fracture, because I don't think, number one, that he would have continued playing on a Jones fracture. I think this would have been like a, we need to shut you down surgery. And even then he might have actually been able to come back in the playoffs with where they were week 16. Would have been tight, but had they advanced, might not have been completely out of the question. What's typically done for a Jones fracture is they just put a screw down into the metatarsal bone, get those two ends to adhere. The other thing, though, that I think probably happened here is what we would call a just base fracture or an avulsion fracture. Another way that this fifth metatarsal can break is a tendon called the peroneus brevis, which wraps around backside of the ankle. It's an important active stabilizer of the ankle joint, originates off the side of the fibula up higher, wraps all the way around that lateral malleolus and inserts at the base of the fifth metatarsal. You can have an injury where this tendon kind of pulls or avulses a little piece of bone off the bottom of that metatarsal. these are a much, much lower risk injury. You can wear a padded shoe. You can sometimes attempt to try to play through it in the right circumstance. So this is something that, had they seen it acutely, wouldn't necessarily be like a you need to shut down. What also I think is happening here, though, is he said it was a re-aggravation of an old thing. And so he probably at some point before had a fracture at the base of this fifth metatarsal. And then based on the way it healed, it was probably still causing some intermittent irritation. Almost think of it like a bad tendonitis. And so when they say they went in there and kind of pulled out a little piece of bone and cleaned it up, I think that's what they did. There was probably some old avulsion injury in here that they took out of the tendon, kind of cleaned up that area, because if they had put like a screw through, I don't think we'd see him partial weight bearing yet. It wouldn't be as quick of a like recovery necessarily, and I don't think something he would have played through. The other thing to keep in mind is some people will have like an os peronii, we call it, where there's a little piece of bone that just kind of sits in this tendon as a little accessory bone that can be completely normal and benign. Sometimes that can act like a little rock in the shoe, a pebble in the shoe that irritates. And so he might have had something like an os peronii, a little accessory bone in there that they went in and plucked out. When we go back to the play where this occurred, you got to remember that that peroneal tendon is acting like an active stabilizer to prevent the ankle from rolling. So here as Josh is rolling around to try to escape the clutches of Myles Garrett, that position where his ankle is going into a little bit of inversion, those peroneal tendons are trying to really fire to help stabilize that joint. And so I could see that moment, those tendons just pulling at the base of that bone, pulling at that fifth metatarsal, causing more irritation to that area, which really stirred everything up. Quick shout out here too. Somebody on X, the at Thigh Doctor, posts a lot of stuff about Bill's injury reports, medical stuff. Credit to catch this. I basically noticed that there was some increased padding on Allen's shoe. This was sent even, goodness, like back earlier in the year, kind of right after it happened. He noticed that there was something going on in like practice where there was some increased padding in the shoe. The one difference, I don't think this was a Jones fracture as we talked about, but kudos, good catch noticing this, the increased padding in the shoe and thinking about that possibility. I would not expect this to be a problem for Allen going forward. Even if it was a Jones fracture where they put a screw across, shouldn't be any big deal. Especially if it was something more mild, like just going in there and removing a little like piece of unfused, unhealed bone from an old fracture. Nothing that we need to be concerned about, in my opinion, long term, just more evidence that Josh is extremely tough. I will say they probably were putting some numbing medicine around this. They probably were going in and injecting some lidocaine around that painful area before games to help him get through games, but still takes a lot for a player to just, especially in the moment, like continue playing and have the confidence in their body, the confidence in the medical staff to trust them that, hey, this is safe. We can play through this. We can push through it, but still making the decision to go out there for your team and do everything you could. Kudos to him. A lot of respect. That's it for the video, everybody. Let me know, as always, questions or comments down below. And until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.
Matter of fact, let me.
By now, certainly you have heard that Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, and everyone has joined in saying that that is absolutely ridiculous. So the Hall of
Yeah. Oh yeah, this was the video I was trying to find last night. We gotta watch, but I'll save it for next time. Or maybe I'll go through it a little bit. No. I'm gonna stay on cast because I wanted to. Let's see. Yeah, because it would be good, but I'm pressed for time for right now, so I don't want to go deep into that. I think I said enough what I need to say last night about that Bill Belichick situation. So we're going to leave that situation alone until we get some better news of the Bill Belichick situation. But I thought that was very interesting. Actually, a matter of fact, I'm about to subscribe to that guy's channel because, like I told you all before, right now I'm in an advanced program called neuromuscular therapy, and then we'll get into a medical program, but then also I'm going to go to chiropractor school. So I thought that was really interesting. I think to listen to that doctor. His name is Brian Suter. So yeah, subscribe to his channel. I'm already subscribed to his channel. I'm subscribed to his channel on one of my other channels. So yeah, there we go. Cool. But let's see. Let's see here. So I'm gonna break this down from a sports medicine and chiropractic perspective. I'm gonna do my best to do this because there are a few important things happening here. First thing he caught, and this is a really good catch, was the increased padding in Josh Allen's shoe. So that's not cosmetic. That's a clear compensation strategy when you see added padding, especially in a quarterback, you're usually dealing with localized pain management, load redistribution, or protecting a sensitive structure in the foot. Now, a lot of people jump straight to a Jones fracture, which is a fracture at the base of the fifth metatarsal, notorious because it heals slowly due to limited blood supply. But based on what we're seeing and what was said, this likely wasn't a true Jones fracture. That's what the doctor was saying. So at least not an unstable one. Even if it had been a Jones fracture, that requires a screw fixation. That's actually very manageable long term, especially for an elite athlete like Josh Allen with top tier medical care like Josh Allen in the Bills organization. Another possibility here is an oak fracture fragment, a small unfused piece of bone that can cause irritation but isn't structurally dangerous once addressed. So with me working as a chiropractor assistant and studying to become this, so I'll say and also assisting a physical therapist, I would say that from a chiropractic and biomechanics standpoint, what matters most is this: was the foot stable? Was the kinetic chain intact? And clearly it was. Now let's talk about the part people gloss over: pain management. They almost certainly use local anesthetic, like, I don't know how to pronounce this, called lidocaine injected around the painful area before games. That doesn't make you invincible, but it just it quiets the pain signal. And you still need joint stability, neuromuscular control, and confidence in the structure to perform at that level. And that's the key word here: confidence. I mean, I've talked about this all the time in this channel. I mean, to play at that level and to play good in the NFL, you need all the high self confidence in the world where you become delusional. Confidence in his body, confidence in mental staff, confidence that he wasn't risking long-term damage. From a clinical perspective, you don't let a quarterback like Josh Allen keep playing unless the injury is stable, controlled, and monitored. Pain alone doesn't need in careers, instability does. So big picture here is that this isn't something I'd be concerned about, like the doctor said, long-term. It's more obvious evidence of how tough Allen is, like the doctor says, but also how calculated and precise modern sports medicine has become. So, yeah, I like that. I was just trying to sum up pretty much what the doctor was talking about. There's a diagram. Ankle knee. Yeah. If you think about it, everything is in alignment with the foot to the ankle to the knee to the hip to the spine. That's all in alignment. And you see how Josh Allen was turning. He was like, see, this is interesting. He was turning in a very awkward situation. And obviously, from his spine to his hip to his knee to his ankle to his foot, it wasn't in alignment really. And then how he was going down, that more than like that pressure, you know, that could have caused the injury. I don't know, but that's kind of what I'm trying to sum up with my brain, with what I'm studying. So, yeah, I think that's interesting. But let's see. Oh yeah, I wanted to see if I got that term, if I said that term correctly, because I don't want to mispronounce a medical term here. Let me see. Lidocaine. I think it's called lidocaine. It's local anesthetic. It works by blocking sodium ion influx into nerve membranes, effectively numbing the area where it is applied. So yeah, it numbs the nerves. You know, the nerves is like how we feel things. Let's see. I was trying to see how you pronounce it. Yeah, I think it's called lidocaine. 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 Okay, lidocaine. That's how you pronounce it. Lidocaine. Lidocaine. So yeah, we'll end it there. I have to get to class. Speaking of all this sports medicine and chiropractic talk, so I got to prepare for that, and that's why I want to jump on this channel real quick and just talk a little bit. 44 minutes going in, so we're almost there. It was almost at an hour anyway, so we did pretty good. And I will be back very soon. If you want more, you know where to find me. Like, comment, share, subscribe. See you tomorrow. Deuces.